Just there for the LSOs that need to hard mute on Discord and don't have like the push to mute switches set up. Okay. Patterson, would you like lineup for the first goes? Okay, you got it. In that case, I have backup for the first ones. Copy all. I just turn the volume down. Jesus, I've actually got it set too loud for once. Okay, in which case, Frodo, I've got lineup and I've got the lights. I'm going to go ahead and get them launched now.
Frodo's ready.
Yeah. Good. Okay, foul deck. You'll have to bear with me as well, folks, for the first one, because it takes a minute to warm up on the writing as well.
Do we know what the board numbers are for today?
Yeah, today's board numbers are going to be 201 for AJ and 110 for the Tomcat. Go for it. 110 and 201. Let me make a note of those just so we've got the things written down.
Who's in 316?
I don't know who's in 316. That might be Turner spawned in to use the radios in fairness.
Yes, it is, but
on VR.
yeah.
Okay, doke.
I'm. How do I get this? I've got the overlay up. I'm trying to put
You shouldn't need the
268
overlay.
into it.
If you're on a jet, just tune your Pri radio to 268 and use Pri.
Oh, I was in a cold jet, so.
In that case, just connect ground power or put the APU on, whatever works for you. Just get some power in and use the. You won't be able to override it if you're in SRS in a jet. It will take what the jet has exclusively. We'll cover using a spectator slot at some point, you and I. We'll see about that because it might be easier for you than trying to do the jet style one. Okay, 110 is in the 90. We're not bothering groove times today. Frodo?
Yeah, what's up? 110, call the ball.
Well, you're on the wrong frequency, Frodo.
2688, right? 268.8, right?
2688, yeah, but you just spoke on 251. And he definitely called the ball twice.
Roto radio check Pri.
There you go. That's good.
Lima Charlie.
Sorry about that 110.
Okay, 201 coming up. We'll skip that first one. First one's always free. Don't tell the pilots that.
Yeah, just put a fresh handful of tacks on the
Desert 1 on the ball, 6'5".
Roger ball.
It'll come left.
Over.
Okay, what we got?
Little high at start. Come on. Or I'm sorry, let me go back. It's 3 wire. So I'm just playing it back in my head. Give me a second.
It's all good.
So comms checking 268.
Yeah, good check.
Lima Charlie.
3 wire, fly through, down, in middle, little high at start.
Okay.
Okay, joining you in the
What's it
LSO station
On,
now.
come back in middle. Little high, lined up right at start with a come left.
Power call in middle. Also had a power call in middle.
Power. You come back on in close, out of interest, just we've got a second.
I had him low in the middle, and then he was on it the rest of the way down.
Roger that. Okay. 110. Oh,
110, Tomcat, ball 8.6.
Roger ball. Power.
okay, what we got?
4 wire, very low at ramp. Fly through down in close. Little high at start through in middle.
Okay, in middle, coming back. Just a quick one, Frodo, for that fly through down, because it's very low at ramp, it would be very fly through down.
Roger that.
I've written
Roger
that
that.
down as very fly through down for it to make sense.
201, hold ball 6.1.
201, Roger ball.
Turn left. What we got?
4 wire, little high at ramp. Fly through down. Or I'm sorry, high coming down the rest of the way. So I'd say little high at 4 wire, little high at ramp. Too much power in close, settle in middle. Little high at start.
Come on in middle. Sorry, come down in
come
middle
on.
even.
Come on. No, because he went above it.
Yeah, come down in middle. Yeah, that's it. Little high at start. Okay. Little high.
All right, who's up
lined
next?
Right. Let's start with a come left. Okay, who wants to take line up off of me?
Okay, Paddy will do lineup.
Okay. We'll switch you two around in a second as well. So for now, Frodo, you got primary. Patty, you got line up.
Frodo.
I got the lights.
I'm not hearing them. Are they all just on the radio?
110,
268.8.
Tomcat, ball 8.2.
Yes, they are.
Roger ball. Power.
Okay, what we got?
4 wire. Low at ramp. Fly through down in close. Little hot in middle. High at start.
Line up, you got anything for that one?
Slight overshoots, good corrections. For me, it was a wire, 1 wire, but that's not my call.
Oh, 1 wire. I'm sorry, 1 wire.
I was a little confused at the 4-wire. Patty, if it was nothing too major, with lineup, it doesn't need to be written down, unless you think it was egregious.
I saw his wing corrections, and it made sense for me. Slide over sheet, he did the wing, he corrected, and then corrected again, counter corrected. So it was a good correction.
Okay. So umming and ahhing as well a little lineup.
Roger ball.
Okay.
3-wire, high coming down all the way.
Okay.
Correction, little high coming down all the way.
Sorry, lineup was concentrating on the glide slope, and I forgot to look at his lineup. Sorry.
No worries. Don't look at the glide slope if you're on lineup. So we're going to say a little high coming down all the way.
Obviously.
So for the lineup, I had him a little overshoot at start. Come back and
I would have said the same. Yeah, I would have said the same. Or a little. I might not have written it as an overshoot. Might have written as a drift instead. But it's borderline, that one. Either a big drift or a little overshoot. One of the two.
Yeah, I mean, he came back pretty quick, but he was also a little. He was turned a little sharp at that last point, which is why I would say it that way.
For sure, yeah, it was well under control, but it was a proper correction.
110 Tomcat ball 7.8.
Roger ball. Power. Wave off. All right, so that one I had.
110 paddles.
110.
110 paddles. Do not wave off on your own accord unless the LSO tells you to. Okay, they will tell you to wave off if they think it's unsalvageable.
Roger that. I was getting the wave off lights from the L claws.
You definitely shouldn't have been. I'll check on that.
Roger that. I have the overlay that comes up, but yeah, I was definitely getting the wave off light.
Fuck's sake. Okay, noted. Thanks.
Roger.
That one, Frodo, you would mark up until the point where he aborted the.
Yeah, I was going to take that in close. Very high at start. Coming down in middle. Too much power in close. Wave off.
Very high at start. Coming down in middle. Very too much power in close.
This is a 1 on the ball.
Roger ball.
Okay, he's not correcting it, Patty. Give him the call.
Left for lineup.
Let's just come left. There we go. Okay. Come on, AJ, use the technique. There we go.
All
What do
right,
you got?
4-wire. Too much power at ramp. A little high coming down all the way. Or little high coming down, start through in close.
Line up.
Little overshoots, and then line up, left for lineup.
Yep.
And then he
Coming
was
back in.
slight overshoot, but he corrected the overshoot.
Okay, so coming back in middle. Okay, so remember, overshoot is very specifically to the right.
What do you mean by that?
Overshoot very specifically means that they've gone too far right at the start.
Yeah, it just crossed the center line a little bit. I mean, but he corrected it, and I think it was within tolerance, I guess.
Okay, so I've changed that pass to little high overshoot at start, little high coming back in middle, little high coming down in close, too much power at ramp. 4-wire. To marry those two up as an example.
110 Tomcat ball 7.4.
Roger ball. That's a good lineup right there.
Oh, don't drift it, Geff. Stop the drift with a come left, Patty.
Come left. He's on glide now, and he's on center line now.
Yep.
Power.
Oh.
That was the
gutting.
exact same
Right, what do you
pass.
see?
That was a one wire, low at ramp, fly through down in close, little high.
Was he above?
He was perfect in middle and at the start, and then he flew through down in close or at the ramp. Like he chopped it off at the ramp.
Okay. In which case, you would want a settle in close if he was perfect before.
But okay.
Line up, Patty. What we got? So it was a drift. You said he was drifting to the right at start.
For me, both his passes have been angled approach and then overshooting and then coming back.
Okay, so drift right at start, come back with the come left call.
1, horn aboard, 4
in middle.
Roger ball.
That's an overshoot, Patty.
Down left.
That would be a little overshoot.
So now he's on the center line for me.
Yes, go on, AJ.
Power.
Okay.
3 wire.
Yep.
High coming down all the way. Like.
Little high coming down the way. Yep, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
So I would say instead, we want to do the overshoot, don't we? So, Patty, you saw him because you made an immediate come left call. So that would be little high, overshoot at start with the come left, come back in middle. Little high, come back in middle. Little high, coming down in close at ramp. It's how I would write that to get the lineup comments in.
Yep, don't forget the power call in close, because he was starting to settle.
Yes, thank you. Power call in close. There we go.
He gave power before the boats, then took it off, back away.
110, Tomcat ball, 7.0.
Roger ball.
So he's angling now. To the left.
Power. Power.
Wide slope first, what we got?
I had him little
99 hook down.
Little low at ramp.
201.
Fly through down. Little fly through down in close. Little high in middle. High at start.
Where were your power calls?
Power call in middle. Like hard power call in close.
Okay, line up.
Angled approach again, but didn't overshoot as much as in the last ones, and good corrections up to the middle.
Okay, just angled approach then.
201, horn and ball, 4.3.
Roger ball. He is really long in the groove on all of these. Power.
Balsa. Saw what you made the power call for. That was more of a quick bump to his nose than it was a power removal. Just be wary of those, because that will send someone over the ramp if you give them a power call on that one.
Did you guys say this is hooked down this time?
A firm, hook down, please.
I mean, he's coming in close and he's starting to sink. Am I not supposed
for
to make
sure,
that call?
but no, for sure. Watch the attitude at the same time, though. Like, watch the attitude of his nose at the same time. Notice if you can. Harder to do, but notice if you can. If you see the nose dip, that's more of a.
He's pushing on the stick.
There's a,
he's
diff-
using the throttle.
there's a difference between a small bunt and a stick versus the nose starting to droop as you slow down. It's subtle, but it's there. That would be the difficult one to resolve. I would have waited a moment longer just to see if the trend there. But I do like a few microseconds. It's really not much at all.
110, Tomcat
Tricky
ball
one.
6.7.
110, Roger ball.
Yeah, that one's a shitter all around, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm like. I'm not going to let him trend low.
For sure, for sure.
Little left.
Power. Power. All right, we got a 3-wire. We had.
I see
That's
a
a
4-wire.
All good though. That's a 4.
Okay,
so
roger that 4-wire. So a little high at ramp.
I would actually say no. This case, it's low coming on.
Okay, low coming on at ramp.
Yep.
Settle in close. Fly through down. In middle.
This is a
little high
one
start.
ball, 59.
Roger ball.
Deck's clear. 10 feet. Right for lineup, Patty.
Right for lineup.
And that's it.
He's flying the ball now.
And he snagged the 2.
Yep. So I had him a 2-wire, little low at ramp, little fly through down in close, little high in middle through start.
How was the lineup?
Lineup was little overshoot and then too big a correction. And then
Okay.
the come right call.
It's okay, we'll cover how to write that one now then while they're on the deck. So, little, high, overshoot at start. Little, high, on. Right to left in middle. With a right for lineup call. Little fly through down. On, come back in close. If he was to go all the way through, Patty, we'll use that as a teachable moment. So he overshoots at start, crosses to the left, crosses again to the right rather than coming on. You would then write it as chased lineup all the way. CHLUAW at the end of the pass. So if it's just really
Okay,
wiggly
makes
the whole
sense.
way through and they're just chasing it, you just write it like that instead. Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get them back up again in a second. Let's see who wants to do which position next.
Alex,
Frodo, I'm
quick
going to take
question.
you off. Yep, send it.
So the overshoot, fly through, how do you say that again when they cross from right to left and then they come back on it?
So in this case, that pass, as it was little high overshoot at start. Little high on right to left in middle.
Right to left.
With a
Got it.
right for lineup call. Little fly through down on coming back in close. Little low at ramp.
Thank you.
No problem. Remember as well, Frodo, if they look like they're on at ramp and then they settle in the space between the ramp and the wire, you can just say little settle at ramp. That's also completely valid.
Yeah, roger that. That's a good point. Yeah, that's what that was because he was on it
If you feel
at the ramp and
if
he
you
just chopped
feel
the
like it is
throttles.
last second, if you feel like it is literally last second, you can write it that way to signify literally right at the end you just dropped it a touch. AJ, were you going to say something? Sorry.
Turner wanted to say something.
Was it Turner? Sorry, I only heard like an and that was it. Turner, go ahead. Because you're in a because you're in a jet. Yeah, I've just realised that. Okay, so they're using the intercom channel, which you won't be privy to because you're in an aircraft. So let's get you settled a little bit. So do me a favour, despawn your jet. And then once you've done that, just press left Alt F9. So you've released the slot, you press left Alt F9 to get onto the platcam.
Release the slot and then go to spectator.
Yeah, and then you want to just, when you press left Alt F9, that will bring up the platcam, the LSO station view. But you'll have your radios, and at that point, now you click into SRS and you can set the prior radio to whichever one is your prior radio. So either the first in the list or the second in the list. It'll be the first for you because you fly Hornets. Just set that to 268.8 using the little buttons on that overlay. So you want to pull that up with the SRS program itself. That was the one you were trying to change in the beginning. That way, you're hearing the controller intercom.
201 request launch to practice commencing.
201, roger, launch into the stack, Angels 2, I'll call you Charlie.
Maybe explain to Turner how to change the frequency with the little grayed out button. They're not really buttons. They're just like gray areas.
Yes.
Right. So I can hear I can hear Patty now.
Okay, great.
And so can you hear me on the intercom?
I hear you on Pry.
Roger that. 110. Hear you, Lima Charlie.
So
That'd be an AUX.
Just troubleshooting a radio, don't worry folks. The intercom is a separate bind, so go into your SRS, go to controls, and you see how you've got you'll have radio 1 and radio 2 bound. You want to also bind intercom select. That one is you want to talk on intercom, if you want it. If you're just going to use Discord and have it auto mute, then that's fine, but otherwise if you mute on Discord and have intercom select bound to a button, you press that button, you can talk on intercom.
I don't know whether I've got a spare button.
And then in a second, what we'll do, Frodo, you're going to come off for a minute. Patty, you're going to move to glide slope, and we're going to put Turner on lineup, just so we get people rotating through, and then we'll swap you two over later on.
Do that. I got the timer.
Frodo, I'm pretty happy with your lineup stuff at the moment. So it's just glide slope to get the fine eye in for stuff. So so we'll just see how that goes. So do watch the passes as well. If you pick up on anything, feel free to shout it out.
So comms check on the intercom.
Yes, there you go. You're all set.
Okay.
Now you can mute your Discord, and then we don't hear you double, if you want.
110, hold the launch. Oh, sorry, that's 201 launching. Sorry, please continue. And 201, your signal is Charlie. So as soon as you're in the stack, you're free to commence at the earliest possible convenience. 110, I want you to launch when 201 is bolted for the first time.
110 copies.
Okay, we've got a couple of minutes while he gets situated.
Can't hold a spin.
Yep, however you want to do it, that's not a problem. Okay, so we've got a couple of minutes while we sort stuff out. Patty, main one for you, for the lineup when you do that next. The two calls that you want to use are very specifically come left, right for lineup. So just try and get the phraseology as on as possible. Frodo, debrief on glide slope. Really happy to hear no more your highs. That's good. We don't want our pilot smoking weed. So
do I have to request launch or?
Just stand by. You will launch when 201 has bolted for the first time. So feel free to set yourself up on Cat 1 or 2. If they're not taking you, then try request launch.
Yeah, that was my issue. So okay.
You don't make one. For non-CQ, so we had a discussion about this the other week. We care about safety. So we're not fussed if they go too high. If it gets to the point where they're so high and close that we don't think they can salvage the pass, we'll just give them a wave off. But we don't want them to try and send it down as a reaction to us saying something. The only time that you would use your high, really, is going to be during like an LSO talk down. So say someone's having a real hard time or whatever, then I might say your high to try and just guide them in easy, gently as much as possible. Usually the only call that I want out of glide slope is the power call. If they were really high and close and you think, Christ, unless you send it downwards right now, there's no way you're making it onto the deck, you just give them a wave off instead.
201's in the break.
Sick break. Okay. So to start with, Turner, you're going to do lineup. So you'll be stood on the right side, looking just into the plat cam. And your two phrases are right for lineup to get them to come to move to the left on the screen, and come left to get them to move to the right on the screen.
201's approaching 90.
Yep, visual.
Oakley dokley. We will, of course,
So
debrief all these after as well for anyone who's got the time.
Turner's secondary.
Athan, Turner's on backup, you're on primary. First pass is going to be any second now. I've got the lights, Frodo, if you want to time it by all means, but otherwise feel free to observe and soak it in.
Choose one ball, 7.0.
Roger ball. Power. Power.
Touchdown point was just past the 3. What have we got?
Okay, I see him 4 wire and low all the way.
Okay.
And
Right.
I had him a little bit lined up left at the start, but then he sorted it out.
Other way around, remember that screen is inverted.
Yeah, he was
Okay,
right
so
at the start, and then he sorted it. But then he was a little bit right again at the end. But
okay, so in that case, I'm going to go ahead and let's go.
Sorry, for at the beginning he was high and then he dropped too much and then stayed low most of the time, and I made 2 calls
Okay,
for
so
power.
high lined up right at start. I threw down in middle. Based on what you've said then you'd say so low, close, low, come on at ramp with 2 power calls, one of them in the middle and the other one in close.
Group time, last
No
pass,
need for a
26
lineup
seconds.
call, he brought it back.
201 is approaching 90.
Okay, copy. 26 seconds, 201 is approaching the 90. Is it 201?
201's approaching final. 110 is approaching the beam.
Okay.
Desert 1 ball, 6.6.
Roger ball.
come left.
Okay. Say it on prime.
Come left.
There you go.
Right for lineup.
Oh shit.
Okay, that would have been Patty when he did that thing at the end. That's perfectly timed to just go wave off no matter what, just to get him to be all right. So what do we see on that one?
Okay, I saw a 1 wire settled at the ramp and or dropped at the ramp because he was on
settle at
glide
ramps
before the ramp. Yeah.
Completely right. So settle at ramp.
On glide in the middle and high at the beginning.
High coming down.
110 Tomcat Ball, 8.8.
Roger, ball.
Okay.
Stays high.
Come left.
Power. Power. Wave off.
Okay, what do we see?
High at the beginning, high in the middle, and coming down with a power call and a wave off because of settling at the ramp.
Okay, so starting it from the back forward. So he was, what, low at the ramp because you gave him a wave off call there, so very low at ramp.
Very low at ramp, settled at the ramp, and low in close,
Okay.
and on glide, and then high at the beginning.
So that, okay, we're going to say, so what I saw, very low at ramp, very fly through down in close.
Yes.
Okay, little high at start to in middle. So little high, middle, little high at start. I'm trying to remember what the lineup was now. That was, I heard some come lefts, I think, if I recall correctly. So that was going to be a little overshoot start.
201 whole ball, 612.
Roger, ball.
Come left.
That was a little too
Right for
soon.
lineup.
Okay, before we start, Turner, whatever your threshold is for the lineup, just make it a little bit looser. Give them a little bit more wiggle room. What we got for the glide slope on 201?
201, I saw a 3-wire, good corrections at the ramp, good corrections in close, and good corrections from slightly high to on glide at the beginning.
Okay. What does good corrections mean? Sorry.
For me,
I
it means
can't
he was
write that.
working the ball, he corrected the ball, he saw it was high, he went down, and he didn't he counter-corrected it and didn't go below the ball.
Okay, I can't write good corrections. I've got to have a position and
110
Let's do the
Tomcat
next
Ball,
one.
8.5.
Roger, ball.
Remember position, how did we get there? That's how we're going to do this.
Come left.
That was a good call. No more call needed. There we go. Over he comes. That's kind of the cadence you want to get.
He's high and he's going to start dropping power.
Little left.
Bolter, bolter, bolter.
Okay. Turner, for the last call you gave, at that point, don't give lineups anymore, just because we don't want to drop a wing right at the right near the boat, okay? Cool. Patterson, what we got?
He was high at the end he was high all the way, and but at the in close he went from high to on ball, and I called the power. So high at the beginning, high in the middle, coming down at the ramp, and then away bolter because he was over the wires.
These are one horn of ball, 5.8.
Roger, ball.
Come left.
Good call.
Fuck.
Okay, what we got?
2-wire, slightly coming down in close, and slightly high in the middle and at the beginning.
Line up.
Yep. So he was obviously a little bit right at the
Need
start,
to make last one.
and then he corrected. So from the middle
Roger
to
that.
Copy,
the
hook down
rest,
to
he
01.
was nicely lined.
Okay, so little high lined up right at start. Come left call. And then a little high coming back in middle. Okay.
One zero's past the 90.
The plat cam doesn't show the Tomcats. Is that just a bug?
It does.
No, I mean the list of the paper, the spreadsheet below the camera. Sorry.
Oh, they haven't altered properly.
110
that's why.
Tomcat ball 8.0.
Roger ball.
Don't trust that system, it doesn't work. It's the long and short of it. Come left.
Come left.
There we go.
Come left.
Power.
Wave off.
Wave off. Wave
God.
off. Wave off.
Damn.
Okay.
Was that maybe a little bit? Shouldn't have really done the last. Come left.
Probably
It was
not.
touch and
Probably
go,
not.
wasn't it?
So what we saw there, we weren't writing for that one. What we saw there was a pilot who was underpowered, who was using the DLC to correct it. You see the nose start to come up, and the aircraft doesn't change its attitude. You then see the aircraft drop like a stone. At that point, there is no power call. It's a wave off because he's not going to correct that in time. As we saw, he barely got his mains over the back of the deck. So that one's a good example of when to just get rid of him. Absolutely not.
201's approaching. Hook down.
Okay, 201, we hook down. Once 201's on the deck, we're going to swap you 2 round.
There's a one whole ball front plate.
Roger ball.
Okay, what we got?
Nice.
3-wire and slightly high in close or on in close at the ramp on glides. Good job. Looked nice.
Tidy
Okay.
car.
So are we saying that's a little high coming down all the way? Or are we saying that's a little too much power in middle, little high and close, little high coming down at ramp?
No, I'm saying that he I don't know, maybe I was lucky. He was basically for me on glide all the way, maybe a smidgen high at the beginning.
Okay, then we'll go with little high coming down all the way.
Yeah, you got it, Turner.
Okay, Turner, you are primary. You have glide slope. Move yourself over to the left, and we're using our eyes out towards the horizon. Patterson, you have lineup. I have the lights.
Is Frodo not doing the lineup?
Nope, you're on lineup now.
Rod.
One zero Tomcat ball 7.7.
Turner, that's
110.
yours.
Roger ball.
Perfect. Come left.
Power.
Okay. Turner, what have you seen?
So at the ramp,
other one,
he.
that's bright. On to come.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah. At sorry, one's press, one's pull. Yeah. So at the in close and at the ramp, he started to come through the glide slope.
Could you
I think,
repeat last?
which is-
Gesture was jabbing.
It's all good. Erroneous call. So, sorry, you said you come through down on the at the end of the
110
pass.
paddles be advised.
yeah,
the
in-
last
in-
5
in-
passes
in
have all
close, I
been 20
think.
seconds plus. Get your turn in a little sooner, please.
So,
Roger that.
are we saying that happened in close, or a little bit later, or a little bit sooner?
I'd say in close.
Okay. So, if we're doing fly through down in close, then he must be low at the ramp in some description. Now he brought it back up, so we're going to call that low coming on at ramp. because he's low, but he's bringing it back up. So before that, so what was he in middle if he flew through down in close?
So I'd say he was pretty on in the middle.
So did he fly through down or did he drop from on to below in close?
From on to below.
Okay, so settle is what we call that, settle in close. And then what happened at the start if he was on in the middle?
So he was a little low, and I gave him a power call.
Was that at the start, sorry, or was that in close? That you gave him the power call?
No, the power call was in close.
Okay, so power call in close. What happened at the start? How was the start looking?
Slightly high.
Okay, so what we'll say then, be coming down in middle, little high at start. Is little high at start, come down in middle onto the glide slope, settle in close, going below the glide slope, and I've put your power call in there as well. Low coming on at ramp. So he's low at ramp, but he's bringing it back up, hence he still hits the 3.
Wouldn't that be a little high at start, fly through down in middle through in close, power back on at ramp?
If it's through 2 of them, you don't really do fly through down for 2 of them. You generally do coming down in middle, settle in close, because it's 2 separate times. It's rather than it being like one error, it's kind of like, cool, you managed it correctly to start with, and then you dropped it through.
Here.
Perfect.
110, Tomcat ball 7.3.
Roger ball, 110.
Sorry, you don't need to echo.
I'm left.
You don't need to echo the number back at them, it's all good. Okay. Okay, so hook touchdown point would have been a 2-wire. What have we got?
I think he was maybe settled a little bit at the ramp.
I'd agree with that. Little settle at ramp.
Pretty good in the middle. Little high at start.
Okay. Line up. What we got?
Overshoots at the beginning, and then good corrections in the middle. On
110 paddles. Last group time 15 seconds. Well done.
Okay, so coming back. So then it would be come back in
White
middle.
knuckled her all the way down.
All right.
What did he say?
White knuckle the whole way down.
I think that's going to solve his dropping problem, though. Is if he cuts his group time from 27 seconds down
I'm
to
good
18
for 2
seconds,
more.
it's going to solve his power issues.
Copy 2 more. What we'll do after these as well, if people have time, is we'll quickly debrief them, have a look at what we got written down.
And Alex, I am streaming this today, so if you want to review it with the stream, you can.
Oh, dude, beautiful. Excellent. Okay. Thank you very much. All right, we got paddles contact on 110. 135. $90. This might be not enough straight away.
I think it's
45.
A little close.
Yeah, he's gonna be in like a fucking rocket. Okay. Here he comes. Please time this groove, Frodo.
110,
Yep.
Tomcat ball 7.0.
Roger ball.
Power. Oh, shit.
Little
Power.
power.
Okay. What do we see?
18-second group time.
I would say, yeah, I would say that was a I think the touchdown just before the 2.
Oh, fuck no.
I think that was a touchdown significantly before the 1.
That was a touchdown at the LSO platform.
So I'll tell you what I saw for that one, okay? So he came in, okay, and he had the wings level transition problem. So too much power at start on that one. high in middle. Okay, and we saw him raise up as he was coming through. So high in middle. And I'd say as well that he flew through down. Big time, so very fly through down. In close, very low at ramp.
Died.
With fucking underlined as fuck power call. So I did not have my hand on the button. So
actually, that should have been a wave off call,
honestly.
right?
Yep, yeah, absolutely should. Absolutely should. That was exactly what I was going to say next. The thing that preceded that, which made me think, oh no, listen out for this if you ever hear it, was his engines. We'll watch the stream again, okay? His engines spooled down to next to nothing. And there's only one thing that follows that every single time, and that is the aircraft dropping like a rock. So if you can, get the call in as soon as you hear it happening. Really good example of things can look absolutely fine and then suddenly go to shit. Okay. Let's see what we get for this next one.
Group time's going to be spot on.
I think he'll be hooked down on this one.
$110 Tomcat ball 6.7.
Calm left.
Easy with it.
I was going to say I could see he's going to bolt at that.
Bolter. Yep, all good. The call I made is one that I can make. So what did we see happen?
See if I can get the cut lights. So just ignore the cut lights. You see them.
So he was high all the way, quite a lot high actually, and he was, yeah, he was. I didn't think he was ever going to come down because he didn't seem to be correcting it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so high. His start was okay. There's too much power at start.
Yeah, that
high
transition when he was
middle.
coming in.
Yeah, I agree. So high in middle to in close, high at ramp, and I'm writing it that way so I can put the easy with it call at ramp. Because I want to say where my call was, so I've got to make it a separate note. Okay, so he's still hooked down. On 0.
Last group time was 15 seconds.
Copy 15. 110 paddles.
110.
110 paddles. Just want you to really work on that wings level transition this pass. Try not to shoot at. That's been a trend in the last couple of passes, so just watch that energy rolling out into the groove.
Roger that. The short group time's kind of messing me a little bit.
Wave off lights are activated.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Patty. No, that's Patty.
Disregard wave off lights.
I didn't realize they were on/off buttons.
Yes, they are. Okay, lights are live again. Believe them now.
110 Tomcat ball 6.3.
Roger ball.
Yeah, he shortened his groove time and he's rolling out high. Okay.
Did much better on the throttle that time, though. Power.
Okay, what do we see?
Nice 3-wire. Yeah, slightly high all the way in, but no significant deviations.
Okay. Because he took a second to bring it down. He was a bit high. I wouldn't call that a little high. It's borderline. I'd call that a full high. I would write that then as high coming down all the way, rather than a little high coming down all the way.
I mean, I'm hoping that
nice
last
pass.
group, they were all in the range you're looking for from group time.
Last 3 passes in sequence, 19, 15, 18.
Okay, cool. So I just need to work on that transition better.
And 110, just watch as well, because obviously as you've brought your groove time down, you're rolling out higher in the groove. So just bear that in mind as well. You'll need to descend a touch more than you have been doing.
Roger that. No, these sessions are great for. I learn something every time. Thanks for the passes, guys.
Cool.
Paddles out.
Thanks for being our guinea pig.
All right,
Hey,
folks,
you need
let's,
somebody to fly some bad passes, you call me.
They won't be bad long. No, they weren't bad.